welcome back. This is Rage from SageNtheRage, and continuing from my last video where we did some tests on the tier 21 different builds versus tier 20 kind of debate with some of us in the Demon Hunter community. I'm going to be bringing you some trinket testing today with the trinkets from Antorus, the Burning Throne. So here we go. The new raid's coming out. We got a lot of trinkets to test. Usually I'm equipped with the following setup, which is an 885. I haven't been able to get a 910 yet. I copied my tune over with this. So we're going to rock an 885 Arcana Crystal, Infernal Cinders, and then we're running the tier 20 set with our single target build. All, Fellblade, Demon Blades, First Blood, Nemesis, Master of the Glaive, Chaos Blades. And so that's what we're going to be doing our test with, just to kind of see some uptimes on our SCADA recount and see what kind of damage these trinkets are pulling off. So the first trinket we're going to equip and use is, imagine if you had a 910 Arcana Crystal or above from the vendor, and then you had this bad boy, Aman'thul's Vision. Plus 1,000 to all your secondary stats. Spells and abilities have a chance to grant you 1,993 speed, avoidance, and leech for 12 seconds, and it has a proc to give you almost 5,000 agility for 15 seconds. So if you were to combine these two, your secondary stats are kind of bananas. I'm almost 50% crit. I take a hit on crit a little bit there from the Infernal Cinders, but 33% haste, 36% mastery, and 10% versatility in this gear setup at 935 item level. This is ridiculous. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this one, see what kind of damage we do over a 2-minute window, jump cut ahead to the meter when we get there, and then kind of go back and forth and test more of the trinkets, see what kind of uptimes they have, and what looks like decent trinkets, so that we're aware of what trinkets we want to go after when we're inside our new raid coming out here, hopefully in November when this next patch comes out. So we'll see you at the jump cut. I'm going to go ahead and dive in and do a test with the 885 Arcano and the Aman'thul trinket. Okay, so after the jump cut coming in, we're at 1.18 million DPS. Not that big of a difference from some of the trinkets and stuff I was using on my other video. Obviously, we're using an 885 Arcano Crystal with all these tests, but let's look at some buff up times. This thing has a 63% uptime on a 2-minute window, giving you almost 2,000 in your tertiary stats, avoidance, leech, and speed. That's not a bad thing for raiding. Avoidance cuts down AoE damage. There's always AoE going on. Leech heals you so you can heal back from the damage that you're doing, and speed moves you in and out of stuff faster, or to targets, target switching, all that kind of stuff. Can it make a difference over a long fight? I bet it will. It seems like a great trinket. It's basically Arcana Crystal 2.0. It's going to be the trinket everybody wants. And to correct myself from earlier, the agility by 5,000 can only proc if it's empowered by the Pantheon. What empowered by the Pantheon means is there are 6 of these Pantheon trinkets. Your raid team needs to have all 6 equipped, and all 6 need to proc the equip effect to get the Pantheon buff up. So should that happen, you get 5,000 agility if everybody's wearing it, and your raid can pull off the buff. But that's a discussion for a whole nother video. But that's the trinket, Aman'thul's Vision. Let's do another 2-minute window here. And let's switch out. I was curious about this bad boy, the Shadow Singed Fang. Your melee and ranged abilities have a chance to increase your strength or agility by 4,186 for 12 seconds. Your auto attacks have a chance to increase your critical strike by 1,600 for 12 seconds. So we're going to flip that out. We're just going to keep the Arcana Crystal in there. It's 885, keeps me at 935 item level, so we're not that crazy. And what we're going to do is we're going to do another 2-minute round, and we'll see at the jump cut, see the damage, and see the buff up time on this bad boy. So we'll see you after 2 minutes. Okay, so our 2 minutes are up. We're back at our jump cut here. And 1.10 million damage. Not bad. Let's take a look at the buff up times on this bad boy. So this trinket, the Corruption of Shatug, I'm going to call it Shatug, has a 55% uptime on that 2-minute test. And so that is your critical strike, and the Flames of Harg, which is your agility, I believe, has a 38.6% uptime. So overall, this thing looks like it has a lot of uptime. But again, 1,600 crit, 4,000 agility, at around maybe at best a 50% uptime on both. You could just equip, a high-level stat stick and have 50% almost more crit uptime with a little bit more agility uptime than that. So I don't really know how I feel about this one. I mean, it would take a lot of sims, I feel like. A simulator would give us a better idea of how much the uptime is on these things. It's not a bad trinket, but overall I feel like a stat stick could do better, but that's just my thoughts on it. So we've done Aman'thul, we've done, you know, the Shadow Singed Fang. Let's take a look at the Seeping Scourge Wing. Now this one looks interesting. Your melee attacks have a chance to deal 582,000 shadow damage to the target. If there are no enemies within 8 yards, 258,000 additional damage. So this thing can almost pull off, if it crits, well over 1 million, and almost 1 million without a crit. So let's see how often this thing procs, how much damage it actually gives us, and we'll see what we get. We're going to go in with meta, Chaos Blades, all that, do another 2-minute round, and then come back after the jump cut and see how often this thing hits and how much damage it's adding to us. So here we go, we'll see you at the jump cut. Alright, so we're back after the jump cut, and 1.23 million DPS sustained over 2 minutes. And that Shadow Strike is 6.6% of my damage at 10.5 million. Now, versatility is not a stat that's way up there. Usually we go haste and crit, even if we were running demonic, maybe even mastery over for all that chaos damage. But versatility is never a bad stat. And the thing is here, chance to deal 582,000 damage to the target. So that's flat. If there's something else around, you'll get that flat. But if there's no one else around within 8 yards, we get even more. And look at that bad boy. Critical. My maximum critical hit with that thing was 1.49 million damage. My average hit was 1.3 million damage when it went off. And there's our regular hits. Let's go back to that damage again. See how many times that thing procced in a 2-minute window. We had 9 procs in a 2-minute window. So, on average, maybe 5 procs per minute with an extra million damage kind of in there. I usually run the Fell Cinders right now, and that thing gives me about 5% on average extra damage. This thing is cranking out 6.6. So, kind of a damage upgrade. Hits really hard. This is not a bad trinket. Imagine if I had Aman'thul on here, or something else that was combined with it. I don't know. I think this has some serious potential for it. Let's go ahead and equip the Gorshalach Legacy. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to pretend to try to know how. Now this thing is weird. It gives us a ton of haste, 1,320 haste. Your melee attacks have a chance to grant the Echo of Gorshalach. On reaching 15 applications, you lash out with a devastating combination attacks, critically striking enemies within a 15-yard cone of you for 1.8 million fire damage. So this thing could do a lot, depending on how fast the stacks go. So let's see how it turns out. And we're going to dive in again. And we'll see you after the jump cut. I'll give you some thoughts on it. Here we go. Okay, 1.17 million DPS after the jump cut. Look at that. Gorshalach's Legacy, 3.0% of my damage. Maximum hit 1.6 million. Only got 4 hits in over a 2-minute window. It takes a really long time to stack up 15 stacks. I feel like maybe if we were a class like a rogue or enhancement shaman, or maybe even like a fury warrior who uses a ton of haste, this thing could proc a lot. I don't know how I feel about it for a demon hunter. I'm not seeing it proc a lot. I feel like the Seeping Scourge Wing was a better damage trinket. Lastly, let's play with Golganeth's Vitality. This is another one of the Path of Titans one. And you can only have one of these equipped at a time. So if you equip this, you can't equip Aman'thul's Vision, the Arcano Unstable Crystal 2.0. You can only have this one on. And the Agility one is your damaging abilities have a chance to create a ravaging storm at the target's location, inflicting 2,701 nature damage to all enemies within 6 yards over 8 seconds. It's not bad. I mean, you do the math on that. That's a good chunk of damage. Let's see how the damage turns out here. And how we do after another 2-minute test here. So let's give it a shot and see what we get. See you after the jump cut. Okay, so back after we did another 2-minute test. This thing's pretty cool. Ravaging Storm, 39 hits, average hit 62.4k, maximum hit 1.15, 3.1% damage increase. I mean, it's not good. It's not bad, obviously. You'd rather have some stats in there. What it can do with the Pantheon, though, is that your auto attacks cause an explosion of lightning, dealing 49,000 nature damage to all enemies within 8 yards of the target, last 15 seconds. if you have a big AoE fight, or even Mythic Plus, this trinket could really kick in some damage there on big groups, because it is a storm within 6 yards, so that could be very beneficial. And I know I didn't try the Lightning Leash trinket, the on-use one, in this video. I'm going to come back and try that later on. Just wanted to go through some of the more basic ones that, you don't have to push a button to activate. Obviously, some of those are better. We'll come back in another trinket round and try those. But overall, my thoughts and opinions are some of these trinkets are really cool. I'm really impressed with the Seeping Scourge Wing, honestly. And of course, the, Arcana Crystal 2.0, Aman'thul's Vision, which I don't know why they would do this again. I mean, all of us are going bananas at the vendor trying to get a 910 Arcana Crystal, and now there's this new one that everybody's going to want. And it also kind of impedes the ability to want to equip this other one, because that's there, and stat sticks are just, great when they're that high, even in sims and other things like that. So hopefully this gave you some information on stuff that you want to shoot for. I would say, just from my rounds, again, sims are always better. I cannot stress that enough in these tests. I would say you'd want to shoot for Aman'thul's Vision and the Seeping Scourge Wing for this tier. That's my impressions out the gate, just running some simple tests. Obviously, you can head to the Demon Hunter Discord channel, get some better input. They usually have some great layouts and graphs and all the numbers in there from all the sims. Do your research, but my gut feeling from testing some of these trinkets is that these two are ones that we want to aim for some serious damage. We might even want to just keep our Infernal Cinders because of the crit on it versus the versatility. And it's a 5% damage boost, where this is only a 6%. It's only 1% up, but it does hit hard. Hope that kind of helps out. It helps you guys see what you're looking at on the PTR when you get into the new raid at Antorus, the Burning Throne. And as always, Demon Hunter community, thank you so much for supporting it, watching, giving your likes, giving your subscriptions. Please like and subscribe down below. Give me some comments. And we'll see you next time for some other tests and some data on the Demon Hunter. Peace.